Morning, Joe. Morning, Jamie. How you guys doing?
Morning, Ben.
Morning, Ben. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Beat me to it. I've decided that today will be the last day I say Happy New Year anymore.
That's it.
Like it's done. Today's Wednesday. It's the 4th. Somebody said it should go through like Friday. Like, oh, you say Happy New Year until the first week of the year. Like, no, I'm done.
No.
Today's the end. How you guys doing? Had a good holiday, Christmas, New Year?
Christmas was great. Yeah, absolutely. New Year, the fam got the flu, so
Perfect.
We're fully recovered, thankfully, but it was a quiet and relaxing for the most part New Year. How about you guys?
Did you make your way to Buffalo and get stuck in 7 feet of snow, or
no? Thank God.
Didn't make the trek this year.
No, we did Buffalo for Thanksgiving, so we side skirted the blizzard of Christmas this year, which was we got plenty of pictures and updates, and it was terrible.
Like, how much snow? Like, did whoever's still in Buffalo, your mother-in-law or parents, like, how much did they actually get? Like, what are we?
4 feet of snow.
It's ridiculous just even to say.
Yeah. By Buffalo standards, that's not terrible, but it came so quickly, and the wind was just whiteout conditions that basically they pulled the plows, which I've never heard that happen before. And
like, it was too bad the plows could even go out.
It was not safe for the plows to be out there. Yeah, you can imagine a 7-ton plow going down the road, not knowing where he's going. That could wreak some havoc. So yeah, that was interesting hearing some of the stories. My buddy's dad, unfortunately, skidded off the road and was stuck in his car for 36 hours with one of his coworkers. So hearing some of the stories, it was pretty wild. Yeah, exactly. You coworkers, best friends real quick in that scenario.
Crazy.
And it happened very quickly, but thankfully friends, family, everybody turned out okay. So, and we're safe and sound here in Rhode Island. So
yeah, instead we're getting rain and it's 50 degrees here. Like, this is not January.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I know.
How's the world of logistics these days? I know we're obviously coming off of Christmas, New Year, Thanksgiving, which typically a slow time of year, and things may be kind of skewed off. And I know on the TCC side, we've kind of hit the ground running. It seems like this first week of January with stuff picking up, people obviously back to work. Are you guys seeing a pickup this week as well, or kind of a slow ramp back up in 2023 here? How's things looking for you guys?
I think it's starting to definitely pick back up. I think everybody was saying Q1 was going to be kind of the kickoff in especially dealing with so many of the chemical industry. I think a lot of people kind of take most of December to shut it down, and whether it's the plants manufacture themselves or the sales teams kind of coast into the new year. So I think everybody's scrambling to get back up again, and there's still stuff on the water that's arriving to ports and stuff that needs to get to where it's going. So we're definitely starting to pick back up again. We're hearing more requests out there, so it's promising for sure.
How's the logistics behind logistics? How's availability and truck availability and things like that been in general? You guys still been opening up a bit, or has it gotten tighter?
Well, I'd say availability's been pretty good. I mean, with the holiday schedules, it's always tough to, get things lined up perfectly. But to the point of, the week before Christmas and the week before New Year's, the last 2 weeks, basically, for us. I mean, usually the market is slow, and this year really wasn't any different. As Joe mentioned, like this week, even just coming back into the office this week, things are certainly picking back up, which we tend to see. There's a little bit of a lag even, coming in after New Year's, which it's not out of the ordinary, but, things are picking back up. So it should ramp up even a bit more, going into next week.
Yep.
Availability still looks pretty good across the board. Not too many issues getting things moved. From the rail side, that has been the biggest issue, I think, the last month or so, probably going back to about Thanksgiving, just slow communication from railroads, slow service. And, the federal boards, the transportation boards are getting a little involved on that, trying to help out where they can.
You chalk some of that up to the talks about like the strikes and labor unions, or people taking time off with holidays and trying to manage actually having people in the office to move some of this stuff, or maybe a little bit of everything?
I'd say probably a little bit of everything. I know there are some railroads, like I think Union Pacific is one, but there are some, trying to play with their schedules as far as who, how many train operators they have on a train. I think some of them are trying to like figure out how to do it with one operator per train.
Yep.
To try and, keep things moving with less people on them, which would be great in theory. We'll see how that works out because it seems like a lot for one person to do, but
yeah,
we'll see.
It probably goes back to the truck driver shortage and some of the ways they're trying to get more drivers, decreasing the age, the minimum age to get a CDL and whatnot, which again sounds good in theory, but you're putting even younger and younger people on the road. Maybe not so great, maybe less experience and whatnot. So a lot of things people trying to do to help with availability, which is obviously the right conversations to be having, but just a matter of how that actually all shakes out.
And the actual practical use. Yeah, I mean, the driver shortage is something that has been at the forefront of logistics complications from forever.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, it's, not going away. So any creative, thought process we can try and put out there, I think is well worth trying to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, to Joe's point, like logistics, the driver shortage, that's been around for a while. But I think now we're starting to see, the employment shortages in other sectors. It's kind of just across the board at this point where we have less workers than we need right now. And it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon, just looking at population metrics.
Yeah. How about the dollars and cents side of things? I think we saw the fuel surcharges are trickling back down, which is good news. I know obviously gas prices have come down a bit, which hopefully will help with some logistical costs.
Yeah, I mean, recent update, December was one of the lowest pricing months that truckers have seen in quite a while. I know we've discussed it before. They can only go so low before a trucker's just going to sit, and try and take a local run rather than doing anything long haul.
Yep.
But again, that's promising for regulating back to, 2020, late 2020 through 2021 pricing where it was nosebleed pricing everywhere you saw. And it was just, hey, I've got a truck in hand. Do you want it or not? I think this is at least kind of correcting a little bit of that. So 2023 should see that potentially normalize through the first half, I would say. And I don't know that it can go much lower. And that might be an indication of where the economy itself is going, which hopefully is not the case.
How about on the rails? Is stuff getting more expensive, less expensive? Is it kind of stagnant? Are there any big changes on rail costs coming into this year that you've seen?
Well, so the big thing that a lot of people are working around is, insurance requirements and things like that. So those costs, from what I've seen, insurance costs tend to be going up. The actual rail freight, I would say rail freight's pretty stagnant right now. It's kind of plateaued. It's not really coming down, but usually, we always talk about, logistics being a reactionary type market. It's not quite as, it's not quite as leading as, the chemical market or anything like that, because it kind of just reacts to what those markets do. So rail is even more reactionary because rail, even your fuel surcharges and things are, 3 months behind what the schedule is. They just go off of the historic numbers. So like right now we're working off of, I believe it's October fuel prices for rail. So
Got it.
Rail is always going to lag behind a little bit. I think it's pretty much plateaued. I think we may see it come down a little, but rail prices normally don't come down much.
That insurance piece, are there new insurance requirements for 2023 or is it just insurance costs in general are going up?
It's primarily insurance costs in general going up, but there are some requirements on, flammable liquids and things like that we've run into across the board that just some car leasing companies, some railroads, different parts of, Canada, different countries and things like that require different insurance levels.
A good time to get with your logistics partners or department and make sure all your insurances are in line and good to go for the year.
Absolutely. And I think that's what separates, TLC and in general is we always have our T's crossed and our I's dotted. We definitely do our due diligence when it comes to all of that and making sure that our customers and their freight is always insured to the max and gives them the peace of mind in that regard.
I'm glad you said that correctly because in my head I said like T's dotted and I's crossed. So I'm glad you said that the correct way.
Took me a second, but we made sure we get there.
But we're past Christmas, we're past New Year's, we're past Thanksgiving, which means looking forward to some travel, I think, as well, coming up here soon.
Yeah, the conferences are going to be stacking up here in another couple months. So we'll be back out on the road, traveling, hitting it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. It should be fun. Getting some new customers, meeting with existing customers. So good time of year.
Beautiful. Well, appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate the partnership and obviously the ongoing logistics updates. So I'm sure we'll have you on another episode here soon and talk to you guys soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ben. And as always, go Bills.
Thanks, Ben.